If fighting games are supposedly hard and cause salt, they make you rage, they're upsetting, you want to basically take your TV and suplex it out the highest door window you can find. What makes you guys come back to actually keep playing? Like, a lot of people talk about like, man, fighting games have made me so mad. I just have to go ahead and like, just take like a month breakup off of them. What makes you guys keep coming back if these games can it produce so much infuriating rage in you or just emotional feelings? Like, so starting with you, Mr. Gamer Left.
Oh, excuse me. I think it's plain and simple. It's just the thought of progress. Like even if you get salty, you get upset, you still in the back of your mind have this thought like, okay, I can get better. I can fix these problems that I have. I can fix these errors in my gameplay. I can better myself. I can fix this, right? So I think that's really just what it is. It's you you look at what you did or you look at you lost. It's like I know I can win it. I know it's possible. Like this person has gotten better. I know I can get to this level. It's not impossible. There's a saying from one of my favorite ex-retired NFL players, and not just because he was a player, but because of his personality and his character. Is Michael Strahan, and his whole philosophy of his life was, it was improbable, but not impossible. He's like, where I'm at, I should not be. He's like, I should not be a guy that stutters, but I make money for a living on TV. He's like, it was improbable, but it wasn't impossible. So that's why I'm at where I'm at now. So I feel the same way about fighting games. You get mad and it's like you feel like there's a pivot. There can be a pivot to this. I can get better. I even think about something that F Champ said one time. He was doing something. He was like, um, if I know an anti-air is crouching medium punch from my character, why would I ever press crouching jab, which is nowhere near that? He's like, there's an error in my programming. Like he kind of compared it to like computers. So there's an error. That was an error. Like if the computer does the wrong, coding process, like that was an error. It's like, why did I do that? I know that crouching medium punch is the anti-air. Why would I press crouch jab? Like I know this. So stuff like that, you look at it and you kind of think from things from a different perspective, and you kind of assess what's going on. And it's like you have this thought like, progress. I can progress. Something I'm doing wrong right now can be fixed. This is an error. So I think that's for me simply my answer is just the fact that you know you can get better even when you horribly lose or whatever. There's something to pivot from. You can look at whatever that is and say, oh, that's the reason why I got perfected because I kept doing this. Oh, I didn't even try to run the press the offense. So that's simply put my answer.
For me, I definitely do agree with that. I feel like that would be one of the reasons I would say that I keep coming back to fighting games is there's always the promise of progress in the future. If you keep trying and you keep applying yourself, then eventually, as long as you're open to new ways of thinking, I think, and new ways of doing things, because just because you feel like oh, I want to do things this way, like doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way you should be doing things, especially in fighting games, because you gotta, like, it takes a while. It's not like you come in and your style is fully developed. You gotta develop your style over time, and you gotta be adaptable, malleable, and I guess like coachable in some cases, to be able to get to where you want to be or where feel like you need to be. So yeah, I definitely feel like that's a big part, is being able to see yourself, to be able to envision yourself making progress in the future, to not just to be like, oh man, I hope I can. No, you got to be able, I think, to envision yourself in a better place. Not necessarily to be like, know exactly where you want to be, but just, I can be better. I can definitely be better. This person I just beat me, I could beat that person eventually if I keep it up. Because you got to remember, every person that beats you started out not exactly at the same spot as you, but they definitely had to start playing the game. Like they had to come in and learn the moves and learn the combos and stuff like that. Some people are better than others, and like my dad always used to tell me, like some people might be able to, like, they might out like talent you or whatever, but they shouldn't be able to outwork you. And if you really want it, if you really want to get better, you should come back and work it out. Like try to learn the combos, lab it out a little bit. I mean, that's one of my issues I have, is I don't really want to lab things. So I think I could be better. if I really wanted to be better, like I could go and sit in the lab for a few hours and lab out moves that give me problems, that give me issues until I feel like I'm seeing them more often. But that's a deficiency I have. I need to overcome that. So that's, yeah, I agree. That would definitely be one of the things that keep me coming back to the to fighting games. The second thing, and I would say arguably it's just as important, if not more important for me, is when I'm playing a fighting game, one of the big things that keep me invested are the characters. Like if I find a character that I really like, then I'm going to keep coming back to play that character because I want to be better with that character. I want to see where I can go with that character, see how good I can get with that character. Just, because I use rule of cool a lot, and I'm like, man, I want to see how cool things can get when I'm using this character. Like I want to see where I can go with Miguel. I want to see where I can go with Nagoriyuki, Astaroth, Zappa, or even Raven in the more recent, in the last Guilty Gear game. So those are the things that really keep me coming back to fighting games. Like the number one is the promise of progress, and of course the rule of cool when dealing with the actual characters in the game.
I guess I'm finna come in here and give like a kind of a not really on topic answer, but it's on topic answer. Um, well, first I could say, why do we come back? And it's just because, it's just the passion for it, the love for it, the desire for it. I mean, anything that you've ever, cared about or that you had a lot invested into and things like that, it got to you emotionally. And that's what happens in fighting games. I mean, you have a lot invested in this. You feel like you have a lot riding on this. You put a lot of time in this, effort in this, studying into this, and all that. Like when it starts seeming like things are getting difficult for you, it's just natural to start feeling like, hey, you know, the emotion of just like, I don't want to necessarily even say it's like anger. Some people it's anger, but it's just passion coming out. When people show it in different ways. But I will say, if fighting games do get you to a point to where you actually feel like angry, like mad, like we see some people like break their sticks or invite somebody outside for a quick round of a first to 50. I really think you need to just learn how to go and do some anger management because it's not that serious. Nothing on planet Earth should be getting you mad enough to where you're just like, hey man, look, like I'm about to Falcon punch through your plasma screen TV, so I hope you can afford another one. So, but it shouldn't be like that. Like you shouldn't be letting yourself get like that. Like that's way too angry. That's way too emotional. That's just way too much. So I guess in salty, I don't even want to say like salty is like kind of anger. When I think of salty, you're just kind of like you're really really dissatisfied with the outcome of what happened, and it kind of makes you want to get into a moment to where you're just like, let me calm down and just let level heads come back. I feel like there's a difference between salt and anger. But so that yeah. So I feel like salt can lead to anger, but I don't think salt is anger. But I just had a thought of like something that just happened at the video game club at Mississippi State. Well, a person got upset because another person taunted. That was really really funny, looking back on it. But yeah, so so yeah, that was a funny time. But yeah, so I just think it's just because of the passion. Like a lot of times anger and stuff can come out because of passion. But you really shouldn't be letting yourself get like angry. Like, being dissatisfied and stuff, that's cool, that's whatever. But it never should lead to anger. So, I'm sorry for turning this into a therapy session. So if anybody else has anything else to add, we can move on.